The Indian Cybersecurity Solutions. And today I welcome you all to this special webinar. And today's topic is securing Cisco devices, the Cisco routers, switches. What are the best practices and key configurations for enhanced security? How to secure your Cisco devices? Because router switches by default, it is not secure. In the iOS, anybody can hack into it and misuse it. So how to secure that? What are the process you have? So let's begin. So here we'll cover the best practices and key configurations for securing the Cisco routers, ensuring a robust network framework. So how to secure the routers? What are the process? First of all, what are the best practices for this? First, you have to regularly update your firmware, means like the BIOS. The router is also the iOS. So you have to do the iOS updates. So router's firmware update is crucial for security because say there are some say patches that is released for the router upgrade and you haven't upgraded the iOS or firmware, so definitely it is vulnerable to the security attacks. And also say for example the router was capable of IPv4, now the IPv6 has come, so at that time the firmware needs to be updated. So in that case you have to be updated with the latest update. So regular update patches vulnerabilities that could be exploited by cyber threats. So you have to schedule automatic updates when possible, and you have to monitor release notes for critical patches. Now, ACL, that is another way to secure your router access. You have to implement the ACL access control list to control your network access. And it allows the network administrators to control actually who can access your network, your router, and what actions they can perform, say the inbound and outbound. Anybody can say access your servers that is incoming and other is the outgoing. So you have to properly configure ACLs and it can mitigate unauthorized access while allowing the legitimate traffic. So you have to do the secure password management also. Like effective password management, it is essential and crucial for securing Cisco routers. Like any device, say PC, routers are very important and secure device. So password has to be there to protect the access. So there are many passwords like the enable password, enable secret passwords to actually regulate the privilege mode access. Then you have the console password to regulate the console access. You have the telnet password. Different passwords are there, and alphanumeric passwords should be there. Use complex passwords combining the letters, numbers, symbols. So alphanumeric characters should be there to make the password very complex and very difficult to crack. Enable password encryption to safeguard the sensitive credential, and you have to regularly update passwords to reduce the risk of unauthorized access. Now, what are the key configurations? Now, enable secret password, that is the first thing. Using the enable secret command or enable secret password, it is vital for protecting access to privileged executive mode. And this command encrypts the password and it ensures that even if the configuration files are exposed, you have to be very secure. The password remains secure, so you cannot enter the privilege mode. So if you cannot enter the privilege executive mode, you cannot view the router configuration, say the startup config, running configuration, so you cannot do anything. So that is actually the very vital step for protecting your router access. Always set a strong enable secret password to prevent unauthorized access. Now you could set the enable password also. Enable password is unencrypted. It is a clear text password. Like the telnet, the normal telnet password is also clear text. In that case also it is vulnerable to the attack. So in that case you have to use the SSH, the secure shell password, that is encrypted. So enable secret is also encrypted. So if you set enable and enable secret both, then router will use only the enable secret because it is more secure. Then you have to configure the SSH for access. So Secure Shell provides a secure method for remote management of Cisco router switches. And unlike the telnet, SSH encrypts the data. So the password is more secure. And to enhance the security, ensure that SSH, that is the only method enabled for remote access, because nowadays telnet is not used much. Telnet is used very little. So you have to configure strong authentication mechanisms. Implement the SNMP security, that is also a policy. Simple network management protocol, SNMP can be vulnerable if not properly configured. So you have to use SNMP version 3 for its enhanced security features. including authentication and encryption. And you have to also limit the SNMP access using, say, the ACL, and you have to regularly monitor the SNMP activity for potential abuses. So SNMP was used to configure the router and switches and other devices previously. As an SNMP version 2 is there, SNMP version 3, it has some enhanced security features, like it has encrypted password or the key string, so that is more secure than SNMP version 1 and version 2C. So SNMP is not used to configure devices nowadays much, because the automation has come up, but still you can use it, and you have to also protect this SNMP feature. So we can conclude here that securing the Cisco routers requires a combination of different best practices and configurations, and you have to regularly update firmware, implement strong access control, and configure different security features such as the SSH, SNMP. So organizations can significantly enhance their network security posture by implementing these security measures. So this way you can harden the security in the Cisco routers. And now I can take you to the practical aspects of this in the Cisco packet tracer. And let me take a router first. Let's say I've taken this router, this PT router, and you can take any router. And now what you can do, you can implement the password. First of all, you can implement the password, this. Yes, so it has come. So go to the CLI. So the router is booting, and after that you have to go to the privilege mode. And if you press the E and the enable, you can go to the privilege mode. I do not want that. So in that case, go to the global config and say give enable space password, and say the password is 123. So that is a clear text password. And also you set enable space secret, and then you have to set 456. The two passwords should not be the same. The router will not accept the two passwords as the same one. You have to give the different password. So the enable secret is very secure, it's encrypted, and router will take the 456 only. And now you go to the Control Z and you give copy run start to save this configuration, and just reload the router to verify, to check. So now the router will reboot, and then will verify it's rebooting, and will verify whether the router is taking the password or not. You enable, and you can see as it's asking for the password. So if you give 123 in packet tracer, it is also encrypted, it will not enter. Give 456, it will enter. Yes, so it has taken the enable secret password. So this is the first one. And then you can also go to line console 0, and also set a console password, set a CCNA, and you have to give the login, otherwise the password will not be valid, it will not be activated on the line console. That is the console password, it will restrict the access to the console mode. Again, you save this with copy run start and reload the router. And this is, as you see, if you press return means enter, is asking for the user access verification password. You have to give CCNA, it is also encrypted. And now you have entered the router console. Now you give enable secret password 456. So this is the double layer of security, you can say. And you can also see show start, and also see the enable secret password, that is encrypted. Enable password is also encrypted. And you can also go to the config mode, and you can also set service password encryption to encrypt every password. So if it's set, then every password whatever you set, that will be encrypted. Now that is the console and enable secret password. And also I can show you how to set the line VTOI, that is the telnet password here. Now go to the config mode, and you go to the line VTY, that is a virtual teletype, that is a telnet service, and you are having 0 to 15, that is 16 lines, virtual lines, means 16 users can simultaneously access this telnet session, this telnet connection. Say you are giving 0 space 1, means only 2 users are allowed there to access this telnet session at the same time. Now give the password, say it's 1234, and now give login. So you have set the telnet password this way, and you can also check it. You can also say this one, but this router. So you can take a PC, you can connect it with the cross cable, and you can say give 10002 like any IP, and you also set an IP on the router. Open the port and set the IP as say 100010. This one, and then you go to the PC again and see the pizza IP is 10002, and you just go to the command mode and give the telnet and the router's IP 100010. See the user access verification. It is asking for the telnet password. It is 1234. So you have entered the router console. And here, if you do the enable, again, it is asking for the password. Then it will be 456. That is the enable secret, because in the telnet or any remote access, this enable or enable secret password should be set. Otherwise, you cannot access the privileged executive mode because it's a remote access. It is not the local access. So that is about the telnet. But as I have told you, the telnet is not generally used nowadays in production environments. So let me show you how to set the SSH as well. So in case of SSH, you require a host name of the router. So you give host name, say any router, say CCNA. Now the name has changed. Now IP domain name, say ccna.com. So it requires a domain name as well, the SSH. Then next is crypto key generate and RSA. So it is generating an encrypted key for in the form of the RSA algorithm. By default, it's 512-bit in modulus, but you can set as high as 2048-bit encryption, and higher encryption means more security. So you take this, and now just go to the line VTY 0, say 1 or 04, and you'll see that the SSH now is enabled. SSH version 1.99, that is the highest version in the packet tracer, so that is enabled here. And you have to give this command transport input and SSH, because the SSH is not enabled by default. By default, the telnet access is enabled. And then the login, then local. Login local means that it is checking the local database of the router for the username and the password to connect to the SSH. And you have to again give the user name as say CCNA, and say password as Cisco, let's say. So whenever you want to connect to this router via SSH, you have to give the username CCNA and password would be Cisco. So now let's connect to this router via the SSH. Now in that case, first exit the telnet connection and then SSH spell -L for the login name and the CCNA, the login name and the IP 100010. It will ask for the password. You give the password at Cisco, it is also encrypted. And also you can see you have entered the router and also give enable and give the privileged password 456 enable secret. So you have logged into the router and you can see running config, startup config, everything you can see here. So you have entered the router from the PC. So that is the remote management. So this way you can enable the SSH on the router. So this way you have enabled different passwords like the enable secret, console, telnet, and the SSH passwords. And these are very vital for your router configurations. So this is the way you have to harden the security of the router and switches And this is the way you have to protect the Cisco router switches from the outside attack or any outside vulnerability. So this is about the introduction about the Cisco security and how to protect the Cisco routers switches with this security level. And these are the best practices and key configurations that you can do in the Cisco router. Apart from the ACL, ACL is for the say the remote access from site to site. That is about the firewall access. So if any incoming traffic and outgoing traffic you have to filter, that is the ACL. But apart from that, from the local level or the telnet SSH, these are very common protocols that is used to say remotely manage the router and switches on any device. So these are the configurations that you can do. So that is about the securing Cisco routers for now. And I hope that it was very informative for you and you have gained an immense knowledge about the Cisco routers, securing Cisco routers from this webinar, and about the CCNA 200301, and also in the case of CCNP or any Cisco level courses, the security is paramount and it is very important for your Cisco networking career as well. So again, I thank you all for watching and joining this webinar, and I will come with some new topic next time. Till then, keep studying and bye.